Okay, this video is called What Are Your Health Options? And I make videos like this. It's a pretty simple video because for most people, nutrition, the basics of it are quite simple to understand, but people have so much conflicting information from their childhood that prevents them from understanding. So I'll make these simple videos. So basically, what are your health options? There's only two doors that I'm aware of. I've been a doctor over 30 years, and I've been studying this nutrition toxicology stuff for a long time. So I'm just going to tell you the truth. If you don't like it, you can take a hike. But, Plato had said, he who tells the truth is the most hated. All right, well, here it is. Number one, you can become a low-fat vegan with no oils, no alcohol, no caffeine. And you should filter your water. Preferably eat only organic, only eat single ingredient whole foods. Because if you put more than one ingredient in there, they can put stuff in there you don't want, like MSG, MFG, etc. And if you do that, that's your best chance. There's no guarantee you could get hit by a car tomorrow, but that's your best chance to be skinny, healthy, age well, look as good as you can for your age. Okay, and then plan B, door number two. And this is one that almost everybody takes, including most of my doctor friends. Most doctors don't age very well. I'm 61 years of age, and I know lots of people my age, doctors. They're fat, they're sick, they're hypertensive, they're diabetic. A lot of them have cancer. I know some of the doctors who were like the smartest students in their class, and they've already died of cancer, okay? And you say, well, it was just bad luck. I don't think so. I know them, and they did not have that healthy habits, and they were pretty arrogant. And I've also know a lot of people who are theoretically well educated, but they don't want to learn anything, and they have crappy health outcomes. Okay, so here's door number two. Keep on eating animal foods, drinking tap water. See where it gets you, okay? I know guys who, I'll have friends tell me, oh, so-and-so, such a doctor, he's so smart, he's the smartest internal medicine doctor. I think he's maybe smarter than you, smarter than me. I'm like, yeah, right, he's a fucking clown. Okay, these are the kind of guys who got encyclopedic memories, but all they ever read are the internal medicine textbooks. And the internal medicine textbooks are a joke. They're a joke because they don't include nutrition and toxicology and epidemiology. And that's what it's all about. These diseases, what the vast majority of people get sick from and die from, are due to problems with nutrition and toxicology. So if you don't know nutrition and toxicology, I'm sorry, but you don't know disease and you don't know health, okay? You're a clown. It's just a fact. I don't care if you got an IQ of 155, which I know some of these guys probably do. They don't understand anything about disease. I'm sorry, but they're clowns. Same with all these Ivy League professors. Okay, so here it is. If you continue to eat this stuff, the oils, the processed food, the unfiltered water, you're going to end up fat most likely. You're going to be hypertensive. You're going to be diabetic. You're going to plug up your arteries, and then things don't work. You plug up the arteries in the Johnson, you got impotence in the heart, you got AFib, CHF, angina, myocardial infarction. Okay, you plug up the arteries in the brain, you got cognitive decline. And that's usually superimposed on excitotoxicity, my supply and demand theory of cognitive decline, dementia. Okay, most people I know over 55 are fat, sick, and stupid. Okay, if you want to be fat, sick, and stupid, keep down that path. And basically, here it is. You are here like entering a museum, the map. You can hopefully get your act together by 35 years of age. The sooner the better, preferably earlier. But young guys are almost impossible because all young guys think they're immortal and they want to be like some bodybuilder on the internet and they eat tons of crap and protein powders and all this other stupid stuff. But basically, you go low-fat vegan, you keep your arteries open, things will work as well as they're going to work. You'll probably die around average age around 90, okay? You get on the meat, oil, processed food routine, you're going to get drugged. That's all the medical system can do is just drug you. So it's going to give you drug. The drugs don't work so well, so then it's going to surgerize you. Chop. You're going to get chopped up. It's real painful. And then all this stuff's going to cost you tons of money. It's a pain in the butt having to go to the pharmacy all the time. You're going to be poor, and then you're going to die prematurely. I mean, it's stupid. It's a rather obvious and stupid. Okay, let's see. Okay, yeah, so that's basically the way it goes. I'll show you a few more slides, but that's the gist of it. Okay, other things. It's actually a little more complicated nowadays because there's so many toxins in the food. Yeah, and I know it's just, how crazy of me to say it that in the tap water. What a coincidence. That stuff tends to make people lose their ability to, have babies and lose their cognitive function. Yeah, I know it's all just a coincidence, the aluminum, the fluoride that are toxic to the gonads, toxic to the brain. just a coincidence, and all these things cause leaky gut. The chlorine excess also does. So you need a carbon filter to get rid of the chlorine. You need a reverse osmosis filter to get rid of the fluoride and the aluminum. You could do it with distillation, but distillation's a big pain in the butt, and there's some other issues with distillation. Sunshine's good for you. Get your vitamin D that way. Exercise, sleep, help others, so you have that positive. You get positive feedback in your brain from helping other people. It's not just for them, it helps you too. It's a win-win when you go down that path. Maintain some social support with your friends, family. And it's good to be religious. Religious people are a lot healthier. All the major religions, their populations are a lot healthier. You know, families more likely to stay together, stay close. They'll behave better, less likely to get into substance abuse, less likely to commit suicide. So that's called, God's way. It's free and it works, okay? Just eat the plant foods God put on earth for you. Be good to other people, yourself, your friends, your family. Okay. This is man's way, the typical chump way, which about 99% of people choose. Let's see. Let's go to the next thing. Okay, here's the Spartan vegan pyramid of health, and it's pretty similar to the McDougall diet and what all these other guys eat. Pretty similar to Esselstyn, except I think Esselstyn screwed up on flax. I think he got chumped into that. Spartan vegan pyramid. You got to maintain some of the social stuff, which is pretty easy to do. You just learn, be nice, okay? Be nice, be reliable, and you'll get along with at least most of the people in your local social circle. Get your sunshine, sleep, religion, family, friends. Okay, starches should be the main source of calories in your diet. McDougall says eat 90% of your calories from starches, 5% from fruits, 5% from veggies. A lot of people like myself like to eat more fruits than that. I eat about 35%, maybe even 40% on some days of fruits. Then I'll eat a little bit of veggies every day, and I take methylcobalamin and B12. That's it. Simple. Okay. Fruits are a little bit of a pain in the butt because they don't store as long. They're a little more expensive. And for some people, they just overeat them and they can become fat. So you do got to be careful about them. Okay. I've talked in other lectures about toxicology, so I'm not going to go into that right now. But the key point I wanted to make is God's way. Just eat the plant foods. Keep your life kind of simple. Focus on a few things you like that you're good at, so you have a strong sense of purpose in your life, because that makes you more resilient. And, God intended us to live in small, extended family groups, to help each other out, and to eat plants, Genesis 1:29. So it's not that simple. It's not that complicated. That makes you healthy. And that's why most of the really healthy people in these blue zones and other traditional populations, like the Okinawans, that's what they did. They just ate simple plant foods, got some exercise, spent time with friends and family, and they're fine. It's all this modern stuff about processed food, lots of meat, lots of oils, tap water, that makes people sick. And then you got to be careful some of the modern toxins, like what they put on avocados. A high-fat food I wouldn't eat anyways. But anyways, those are your health options. If there's some other health option, let me know. I'm not aware of it. I've been studying this stuff a long time. Okay, well, good luck to you.